Thank you all for coming today. Welcome to the Pillars. We are a community led space aimed at supporting protocols and educating our investors through intelligent, meaningful conversation. Here we ask the tough questions you all want answered. Here is the part where I usually introduce a protocol, a deeper protocol, or any other project from the space. But in a way, we are kind of doing a double whammy here because we are reintroducing what we are doing, which is a somewhat of a project, right? And the even more beautiful thing about it is that I have the pleasure to initially introduce and then hand it off, of course, to Mad Hatter to get some juicy information out of our newest Pillars portfolio partner. And it is Badgerland Crypto, Mr. Kramer, Mr. Justin Kramer, here to talk to us about him partnering up with us in for the Pillars portfolio and what that means for the community, for the beneficiaries that get um, that will get some of the rewards and what the rewards are, of course. And then, of course, also the additional stuff, because it's not just going to be a partnership of just, okay, here's some tokens and talk about it as we have, for example, with the other ones. This will be also, I think, Badger coming in and talking a bit about his specialty. I mean, there's already a channel we have here called the Badgerland Crypto Channel, and this is going to be dedicated specifically to mining and mining of all sorts. So I am very excited, and drum roll, claps. I wish I had a soundboard right now because I would all play that. But welcome, Justin, and thank you for partnering up with the Pillars portfolio. And everyone who doesn't know Justin, give him a warm welcome. And yeah, I'm jumping off the stage now. Bye bye.
Thank you very much, David the Potato. Much appreciated. And Badger, let's ask an official, how are you? How are you doing, sir? Oh, he's gone to get his can of Monster.
Mother, I was on mute. I didn't want to interrupt the potato. So, no, I'm doing really, really well today. Really excited to be here. Really excited for this announcement and to thank everybody that's in the audience. I know we wanted to do a push to 50. I just wanted to push it. We're still going to give away $25 today. We'll figure out some way to give it away.
I am certain people are going to trickle in. One of the issues with having it slightly earlier than usual is people get accustomed to turning up at a certain time. And I think perhaps some people just don't realize it's on. So I'm sure we're going to have people trickling in slowly. Let's get into it. Badgerland Crypto. I've had the privilege of speaking to you now several times in private. We converse a fair bit, and I got to say, I'm always impressed by how much you work, your work ethic, your approach to things. And when you first jumped into this space, you immediately hit us with a ton of energy that we really appreciated. Anybody that brings energy, we really appreciate. And you were very supportive very early on, and you've continued that support for quite a bit of time. What makes you excited about this partnership? Why did you think that this might be something that you would want to do?
So I guess I've been through a number of cycles now, and every cycle has and usually is pretty close to the same. So you go through the bear market, you get ideally what you want is you want a project that starts to build during the bear market, has experienced a bull market, so there's not going to be any surprise or anything like that, and that you and David both have that experience. So with that thinking, I built during the bear market. You guys are building during the bear market. We're very similar in that respect. I think Badgerland is going to do very well come the bull market. I think the Pillars is going to do incredibly well come the bull market, and I'm just holding on to your guys' coattails.
Yeah, well, I think we might be holding on to your coattails, bearing in mind I know what's coming down the pipeline. But thank you very much for the kind words. What is Badgerland Crypto? What is it that actually you do? Because some people are going to know you from a project. Some people are going to know you as a personality in the space, and they see a channel, but they might not necessarily know what Badgerland Crypto is and what it is you specialize in. So can you give us an idea of that, please?
Yeah, so first Badgerland. So I live in Wisconsin. Our college is UW Madison. They have the Wisconsin Badgers. So Badgerland Crypto. That's how it got started. That's where it came
Right.
from. So a very proud Wisconsin sports fan. Got a tattoo. I'll share that here later. I had a nice tattoo on my leg that I can share with all the teams. But I guess it all got started like just with my love of crypto essentially. So I got started trading crypto and everything like that back in 2017 when everybody was starting to trade crypto. I got wrecked because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
No.
I rode the bear market down, then rode the bull market up, trading basically the entire time. And then around 2019, 2018, somewhere in there, I said I should probably know what I'm trading, or some of the details about what I'm trading. So then I started to look into crypto, and the first thing you see is like, okay, it's this coin is proof of work or proof of stake. So I'm like, all right, what's the difference? So I did the research. Proof of work is obviously involves mining and verifying transactions on the blockchain. Really gravitated towards that with my background in math and everything like that. It was just something that's very intriguing to me.
Hmm.
I also like to tinker with things, so mining comes real natural to me
Right.
with respect to that.
Yeah, you like to it calms you down too, right? In terms of I know that your mind is always racing. You're going 10 to a dozen. I mean, we joke about your sleeping patterns, but the reality is there's a lot of hours that you're awake, always thinking about things, particularly things within this space. So do you find when it comes to mining and when it comes to the miners that there's a sense of peace that you get from playing with those, and that's why you're able to lean into it so well?
I really do. Like my day job, I get to do the, I guess, what some people would call the not fun stuff with it, like running a business, trying to market, consult, things like that.
Hmm.
But I actually enjoy that. I enjoyed that part. I was good at that in my old job. I was just doing it for insurance, and I didn't like insurance is insurance. I didn't like insurance. I'm like, where can I go do this and do it with something that I love? And that is crypto. And I've
Right.
been able to carve out a niche for myself and make it work full time for over a year now, which is really awesome.
Great. And I've heard you be referred to as the minor whisperer. So, in other words, what it is that you don't know about
Yeah,
minors is not worth knowing. Um, so, tell us a little
yeah.
bit about that. I mean, give us a little bit of an idea of why minors, and I know that you obviously you like tinkering with them and stuff. But how is what is your approach to minors, and what is your approach actually to Badgerland crypto, and what that means for people that interact with you?
So my approach still is it's gonna have to change soon because like you said, I'm just stretched thin. But my
Mhm.
approach has always been if somebody wants to have a conversation with me about crypto, I will absolutely take the 30 minutes and have a conversation with them. Um, it, a lot of times it's not going to lead to anything. It won't lead to a relationship that is beneficial for me, but I helped somebody else out. And I know if I had access to somebody like me when I was first starting out, I would have been a godsend for that
Mm.
person. Like just to be able to answer a question immediately, not have to Google it and see contradicting information and say, okay, 90% of the information says this, so that's probably right, but what if it's not? My whole thing has always been about customer service, and I really strive to provide a good customer experience in a industry that is sorely lacking for good customer experiences.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. It is sorely lacking, and I love that approach. I love that you want to give a good customer experience. It's one of the things that we try and do here. Although, often or I myself, my personality is such that I come off as a little prickly, even though I'm a teddy bear. If you get to know me, whereas you don't at all. You come off as very genuine. You're friendly. You have time for people, and also you're prepared to say no. I don't have time if you don't have that time, which I
Yep.
think is great. Um, I also
Wait,
love.
is Smiley in the audience? Smiley. I
Yes.
learned it can be learned. So there you go.
It can be learned, yes. Um, and I love the fact that you're standing by not just a team that you like, but you have a badger tattoo as well. Um, I have a couple of animal tattoos myself, so I appreciate the art form, and I definitely want to see yours. So, when it comes to this customer service approach, what is going to make Badgerland different? People want a miner, or they know someone who wants a miner. What is it that you're going to give other than that approach that's going to be slightly left field from what people are used to? And is there something beneficial to the pricing that you offer? Can they expect it to be safe? Because there's a lot of worry around miners and where you buy them. Will they arrive? Are they going to be in good working order, brand new, etc.? So how do you stand out?
Yeah, so as far as how we stand out, everything that we get is new if we say it's new. We do sell used miners as well. But everything that we offer as far as pricing and everything like that is going to be at or slightly below what the market rate is. And
Hmm.
what we're doing that sets us apart or that makes us different is really doing things like I said before, like we're not doing anything new or special. We're just offering good customer service in an industry that traditionally doesn't have it. Traditionally, if you buy a miner, you buy your miner from your supplier and then they wipe their hands of the transaction and you never interact with them again if there's
Right.
an issue. If there's an issue, you have to deal with Bitmain or What's Miner, which is not fun and is a giant pain in the ass to do. If you buy it through Badgerland, I take care of it and I just handle it. So a portion, I don't think I've ever said this. So a portion of every sale that I have goes into like what I call my oh shit fund. So
Hmm.
if something does happen to a customer, I'm able to help insulate them somewhat from the cost burden. So things like traditionally the if you buy a miner, brand new miner, and it doesn't work, you are responsible for the cost to ship it to a repair facility for them to fix under warranty. I cover that cost. So it's just things like that it's a little above and beyond, and it just gives somebody a good customer experience when you're spending thousands of dollars on these miners.
Right. That's very unusual, especially for buying things like miners, and that's actually very big. I know you're saying it's a small difference. It feels small, but actually it's huge. It's that attention to detail, I think, that is going to set you apart from everybody else. It's the idea that you understand the business side of things in such a way that, happy customers is going to be a repeat customer and they're going to want to spread the word of what you do. So just the idea that you put a little bit of money aside, so you perhaps a little less profit, but at the end of the day, if something goes wrong and you can help someone, not only are they going to be willing to come back, but they're going to be, raving about you. It
Yes,
also
and
sounds like.
that's
Sorry, go on.
no, I was gonna say like a review to me is like the number one. Like the customer saying I had a great customer service experience, I had a great experience. I think
Yeah,
that's the best compliment I can get.
yeah, yeah. I agree. Those compliments, especially when you're running your own business, those compliments are great, and actually, a lot of time it's what you should be living for, right? Um, I think also the idea of bridging the gap between anybody that's hosting a miner and the person that purchases a miner is fantastic. Do you think that's going to add a lot of burden to you, or do you think you're going to be able to streamline that in such a way that answering kind of the easy questions is going to be very, very quick, and anything that might be a little bit more complex, you're not going to have to spend a huge amount of time, but still be able to give people maximum value in terms of your responses?
Yeah, so we Badgerland does intend to offer hosting at some point.
Okay, huge.
We um, it is down the road
Hmm.
for that. I do have affiliates and partnerships with hosting facilities, so I am able to order you a miner and have it sent right to a hosting facility, just like you would anywhere else. So that's something that I offer. So it's seamless for you. You're not getting the miner and then having to turn around and ship it
Right.
or anything like that. So it is something that I am looking to do. It's something that I will do carefully because I know the horror stories that are out there, such as, well, I don't say it. There are stories out there with regard to hosting,
Hmm.
um, and it's just something that I know I can do better. So I'm a very process oriented person. You do something over and over again, it drives me nuts if it's not efficient. Like so, it's just
Right.
that's an aspect of running a hosting facility that I feel like I'm going to excel at.
And it will be miners hosted by people who have purchased the whole miner, or as a question is asked here, are you thinking about offering a service that can fractionalize this? Some might say, well, are you going to create a crypto project that just simply allows people to gain returns from miners? Or are you thinking of different ways by which you can lower the barrier of entry until such time as they've grown to be able to buy a miner themselves?
So as far as that goes, I don't feel the need to do that. So like Mad Hatter has alluded to, I have my fingers in a number of things and a number of irons in the fire. One of those is quantum expeditions. With that is where we are lowering the barrier to entry to get exposure to mining. Through Badgerland, it will be strict sales. So we won't be looking to fractionalize or anything like that, at least not for the foreseeable future.
Right, which is fair enough. I think it's sticking to what you know and what you know best, and growing that first. And if, I guess, the opportunity arises sometime down the line, you'll consider it, but it's not high on the priority list.
Yeah, it's definitely something I've been approached. I have the connections and the ability to implement. It's just not a priority at this time.
Right. So let's talk miners, and in particular, and why I'm sure the majority of the people are here, what the mining that you are doing means for people who are able to benefit from the Pillars portfolio. Do you want to
So
talk us through what you've donated, why you donated it, and what it means for us?
yeah, so what I've donated is a Cadena miner. KDA is the abbreviation. So it's on the Cadena blockchain. Mine's Cadena. It's KA3. We'll have it hosted at a 8 cent rate, most likely, something in that neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And we will use the mining proceeds to pay that electric bill, and then whatever is left over will be distributed.
Great. Yes, so that's all been set up, right? We know that's in place. And in actual fact, we've already been mining a little bit.
Yes, we have.
Yeah. I think what's exciting about this also is, even when there was a little bit of downtime, and with these things, there can be downtime, and it isn't a problem when that happens. You were very easily accessible in order to resolve any problems. Not just easily accessible in terms of your time, but the speed by which you respond as well, and the speed by which it was sorted, I think was fantastic. And that's one thing that really stood out to me. Also, you were instrumental in bringing Kadena in for a CEE that's happening very soon. For anybody that's interested in learning a little bit more about KDA, and wants to understand what it is that we're mining and what it is that's going to be distributed to people who benefit from the Pillars portfolio, certainly join that. And that's thanks to you. That's down to you, which is great. Do you know what the price of Kadena is at the moment? I mean, what does it mean per token for people?
Basically, $1 a token right now is what it's sitting at. It's
Right.
I'll get into some TA. So it's flirting with $1. It's a dollar is a psychological level. If it holds it, we're gonna bounce back up to $1.50, $2 is my guess. If we do break lower, we're gonna be probably in the 80 to 85 cent range, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm. And what's this all-time high been?
All-time high. It's debatable depending on the exchange you were on, but it's 25 plus
25 plus
per token.
per token, which is huge. I mean, that's a huge opportunity for anybody that gets some Kadena and wants to hold it, for the potential that it could get to, and it's huge for us and our access to be able to mine that. So, when you came to us with this, we were very grateful, and we said yes, absolutely, that's something that we want to start thinking about, because it's such a generous contribution to the Pillars portfolio, and it allows people to gain access to a token they might not necessarily know much about, and might be now surprised to hear it's been as high as 25. Do you know roughly, without dialing into too many figures, how much in terms of KDA we're going to be mining over the course of a calendar month?
In terms of KDA, I just did this. Wasn't it? I want to say it was like 550 coins, and then you're probably looking at 150 to 200 for the electric rate. So you're looking, can I do math? 250 to 300
Right.
coins per month.
Again, which is huge. Anybody who wants to go ahead and do the math on that in terms of what that means per month, if it ever were to hit 25 again, probably going to be pleasantly surprised in terms of what that means.
And I
Now,
guess To the why, as far as I guess this is not financial advice, but to the why I chose Cadena. There are, like we talked about, Caspa, and we could have done like Coindoge coins, anything like that. I just
Hmm.
personally, it's my altcoin that I believe in and that I trust, or I like the team that's involved. One of the reasons I was able to get Cadena to do a CE was my relationship with Mike, the
Hmm.
CMO over there. So it's a coin that I think is going to do very well this bull cycle.
Right. Great. I'm certainly going to be watching it also, especially now that we're mining it. And I see our very own trading man, Austin, has jumped in. So perhaps that'll be a token that he looks at for trading, or has looked at for trading, and can offer some insight at some point. Um, Not only are you going to be around with a channel here to give people advice on mining, miners, giving them that extra customer service, but you're going to be doing something else with us too, which I'm also very excited about. And I want to hear you now kind of give everybody the juicy gossip in terms of what it is that you'll be bringing into the pillars, perhaps who might be joining you at what point, and what it means for them also.
So I'll give you, and I will call him the boring one, and I'll say it to his face too. Ray Salmond is one of my buddies. He's an editor at Cointelegraph for their markets section. He's graciously offered to come on with me a couple times here, like once a month or so, to talk about the markets, answer questions, and everything like that. If I mean, I know a lot about crypto, and he's the person that I go to say, hey, what's up with this? He's also the airdrop king, by the
Right.
way. So maybe we
I
can get
see.
some juicy stuff from him. But the one I think you were talking about is having my wife actually on the show to kind of talk about, and maybe somebody else's wife. So, Quantum Expeditions recently partnered with Vosk Coin, who's very big in the mining community. So we were kicking around the idea of having his wife, Alexa, Miss Vosk, and my wife on to talk about what it's like to be married to people that are basically live, sleep, and breathe crypto.
Right. Yes. So there's a lot of exciting stuff. So the boring, not so boring one. First, he's going to be coming in, doing a regular segment with you guys once a month, maybe more if the time allows, and that's just going to be giving a bit of an insight into the market, what he does, you guys bouncing off of one another, kind of chewing the fat of the topic of the day that you want to discuss. And I think it's going to be very valuable to anybody that wants to learn, is interested in hearing you guys talk about trading, to hear the questions you're going to ask as someone who goes to him about what we should be looking at. And I guess during those, someone has already asked what makes someone the airdrop king. He's going to be able to also explain what makes him so knowledgeable and good at airdrops. So
Yeah.
all round great for educating people in the space.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. Like that, like I said, like I want to grow the Badgerland, my brand as Badgerland. I want to help grow the pillars, and I think this partnership is a really good way to accomplish both. I think we have a lot of synergies that we can lean on.
I agree. I think it's going to be very exciting, and I think also it helps that we get on so well. Right, we have these conversations that are, they're never strained. They're always easy, and we kind of fall on the same ideas, and I really like that. So I think it's going to be fantastic to have that kind of energy in the space. And then yes, we are going to have a crypto after dark with your wife and potentially somebody else's wife, of you, as you mentioned, to see what it is like for them to live with someone who is this I don't want to say obsessed because it kind of has a negative connotation, but
No,
someone
we
who
can
is,
say obsessed at this
we
point.
can say obsessed, okay, someone who
Yeah,
is this single-minded, I'll say then,
yes,
single-minded on,
single-minded. I like it. I'm gonna steal that.
right, someone who's so single-minded on mining and what it means for them, because one thing people should know is you don't just host miners offsite, you do it at home too, right?
Yeah, I do it at home. I shouldn't do it at home. I basically break even on it. In the winter, I heat my house with the miner, so we make some money by not having to heat our house. So we make $300-400 a month for 4 or 5 months a year by
Right.
not running the miners or anything like that, or not running the furnace. So yeah, I definitely it's
Smart.
not it's something out of love that I do, and like going back to tinkering, like one of the things that you can ask my wife about is I gave her heated floors in the bathroom, and
Right.
I had to remove it because it was too hot.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Do you drive her crazy on occasion? And we are going to, so we're going to have a crypto after dark with your wife, definitely, and then we're going to bring you back on for one so that you can perhaps offer some rebuttals to some of the things she says. Um, yeah, do you drive her a bit crazy? Are there times where she goes, "Oh, I can't believe I live like this," or is she fully on board with the money?
Um, at first she was like, "What is happening?" And now, as long as about the same amount of stuff is leaving the house as coming into the house, we're good.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll be
But
able
no,
to get into some details.
she's very, very patient, very understanding, and she's without her, I would not have been able to get to this point. So it's yeah, so
Right.
she's a physician and everything, and she does all things that doctors usually don't do, like driving kids around and helping out in the mornings. And so when I can't, she's there, and it's awesome.
Right. Yes, she is a doctor. It's going to be a really fascinating conversation with her, actually. And you mentioned Quantum Expedition's latest partner. So, what do you think it's going to mean to have the Vosk wife? I hate using that term wife, but
Miss
um,
Vosk.
the Miss Vosk, the ladies side of Vosk on to have a conversation. Um, I imagine that's also going to be a fascinating talk.
Yeah, I'm really interested to hear kind of her perspective too, just to hear them kind of go back and forth and wondering if they're going to be like, "Yep, that sounds about right," and no, yeah, like, I mean, we'll get into the
Right.
sleep schedule. I mean, there's times she'll wake up and look in the office at 3 o'clock and just kind of shake her head and go back to bed, like she doesn't even it doesn't phase her anymore.
I mean, let's get into the sleep schedule now. You work a crazy amount of hours, and we'd be remiss if we also didn't mention whom it is that Badgerland Crypto has just partnered with, that you're now working so extensively for. Um, how do you? I don't understand how you manage it. It can't just be Monster Energy drinks and protein bars, I'm sure. What is it that keeps you upright when you are absolutely shattered at 3 in the morning, still working?
Um, I guess I've learned what to leave for those times. So I've learned what work to not work on during the day so that I feel compelled to do it at night. And
Mm,
in the same respect, I like last night, I was like, I'm gonna get a good night's sleep. So I did all that shit during the day. Didn't get as much other stuff done, but I got all that done. So I was able to somewhat relax and get some sleep.
right. And one of the things also you do is I know you sleep in the car because you're constantly traveling down to site, which again you do with family members, right? That's something. So, I mean,
Yeah.
all of this is with family in mind, and you're in a lucky position, in a very fortunate position to be able to be surrounded by family as you travel these. Can you maybe explain to people why you go down to site and how you're able to make the Quantum Expeditions rig, which is a Bitcoin mining company, their rig look so immaculate?
So I guess it's cable management is what it's called. And if y'all have like the old fashioned entertainment centers with all the cables back there and stuff like that, really, I my parents had just a ridiculous one, and I think I got my cable management from having to do that all the time because they kept moving it, and I was just good at it because I'm detail oriented and things like that. So like making sure that cables are out of the way or making sure that it looks neat and clean and tidy. It not only looks better, but it makes it maintenance easier. So it makes it easier in the long run to do it right off the bat. So I think one of the things I said to our team is like, well, it's a temporary facility. Do we really have to do this? Because we turned
Mm,
off our machines for probably 5 6 hours so that we could do that. So that was revenue that we didn't make. Um, but we have to set standards from the beginning, and that's just crucial to do.
right, great. And I love how you explain that. Actually, that would be a tiny detail that might get missed, but the idea that turning it off at just 4 or 5 hours, I'm certain most people would think, well, that's nothing. Of course, we'll do that, but you're seeing it as revenue you didn't make, and I think
Yeah,
that's
I
a
mean,
key thing.
essentially, yeah. I mean, and I don't want to get into it, but exactly, it's revenue that we're not making. So, like, our miners are little workers, so we turned our workers off so that we could
Right.
clean, essentially. So,
Yeah, and for anybody that doesn't or hasn't seen this rig, head over to the Quantum Expeditions Twitter account and you'll see it. I think the tweet came out January 10th, maybe January 11th, and you'll
yeah.
see just how clean the mining rig is, and it is something to behold. It's very impressive. So let's talk about that partnership and what it meant for you, what it meant for Badgerland Crypto, and really why it is that they decided they wanted to work with you.
So for me personally, I think I did tweet out yesterday that it was probably the proudest moment. So for me, the reason I tweeted that is I got my start in their Discord server. So when I first started like down this do crypto for a job path, like
Hmm.
I started selling because I had access to miners at a cheap price. So I was like, I bet I can make some money doing this. And then when I was thinking, how the hell do I break in? I said, okay, let's find the most popular YouTube person with an active Discord and let's just immerse myself in there. I knew it would be a grind. I knew it would suck because it was 3 or 4 months of just answering questions, making it so that I was a knowledgeable person in the space. And then after a while, hey, I could sell you a miner at this price. And basically, the first, you can ask my wife or make a note about to ask my wife about the first like
Hmm.
10 miners we sold at cost so that I could basically get the review, is what I was doing. So I would
Right,
sell a miner without the markup. So normally I could mark a miner at that time. I could make $1,000 a miner easy. I was selling it to get the review and to get somebody to trust me. Like I was selling it at cost.
right.
Um, so
Which
doing
is huge,
that,
and a lot of things people don't think about, right? It can sometimes take a long time to get those trusted reviews.
yeah, and the reviews are everything. So yeah, I got just start little by little, got more and more, I guess, respect, more trust. It built up in that server. Launched my website a little after that, just to have that other, I guess, hook for people to see. Okay, this person's legit. But really, the partnership is special because I got my start there, and that's where basically the pill Voscoin quantum strategic art and design, which we can get into that too,
Uh-huh.
and the pillars is really where I land. So I come into a lot of new discords with the same energy and stuff, and if it's not reciprocated, I leave. So
Right, which is fair enough. I am going to have to disrupt this interview a little bit because we have a rather impatient potato who wants to know what the best token to mine at home is. So we're going slightly left field so that he can have his question answered, and then
the
we'll come back.
best the
Real
best
stuff.
token to mine at home. I mean, it's hard to say. Like, what's your budget? Is your budget 3,000? If your budget's 3,000, the best miner to use at home is Cadena. And it depends what your electric rate. If your electric rate, I know I said I shouldn't mine. My rate's just under 12 cents, and it's still barely profitable. So if you're over 12 cents, you're going to struggle to be profitable. So that's where hosting facilities come into play.
Mm,
If you have a bigger budget, one of the Caspa miners might be a decent play. Those are going to be in the 8 to 12, even 15,000 range, depending on the model.
right. So yeah, we have a community member that he's not listening at the minute, but comes in often, and he's very big into Casper. So I'm sure that'll be of interest to him. He absolutely loves it. So, okay, you've managed to get the good reviews. You've jumped into Discords where it's reciprocated, and now suddenly you're part of a massive partnership with what is going to potentially be a huge company. What did that feel like for you?
Um, it was very like I don't want to say relieved, but I was relieved because it was finally there. Like all this work, you can't tell you how many conversations and how many times I sent a message and didn't get a response for 5-6 days and just had to just bite my tongue and just wait because I know they're busy just like I'm busy, except I'm a small piece in their operation at the time. So they get to me when I get just the same way I have my priorities and things like that. So I had to having my mind wrapped around that at first was really important. So I wasn't just pestering them because I've seen people start off well with them and just pester them to death and they don't like it. So
Right. So relief is a nice word to use. I don't think there's anything wrong with being relieved. I think that's a sign that you care about what you're doing. And certainly when hard work pays off, it can be a relief.
yeah.
Right. So go on. Sorry, I
No,
interrupted.
I was absolutely agreeing. You should be sorry for interrupting my agreement with you.
I like it. Yeah, I'm excited about what the future holds for this, and I like the fact that we're going to get to work closer with one another. I like the fact that we're going to have you on stage and hearing from just you and friends. To me, that's the most exciting part about this, because it's always great when people are willing to do that and come on and do it, and we can watch you flourish and grow as a result. It's one of the things that we pride ourselves on is being able to support things like that. So I'm going to take a slightly left field approach here, which I only do sometimes, and I'm going to invite people to come on stage and ask you a question if you're okay with that.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
So if anybody wants to throw their hand up, and Mr. Potato, I'm absolutely expecting you to jump up as well. If somebody wants to come up and have a conversation with Badger and speak, then please throw your hand in the air and don't be shy.
I like this. I think we should do this when Ray's here too.
We should do which one?
Ray's here too. Uh-oh.
I was a good boy. I raised my hand to be pulled up on stage. Oh, I just didn't abuse my power and jumped up on you. Yeah, I mean, I would just like to know, more as a speakerphone for a question that Dusty has asked. He asked, as a pillar community member, is there anything we can do that can help the partnership so that both parties in the partnership can achieve their goals?
That's a great question, Dusty. I apologize for not asking it myself.
Yeah, I mean, it's really the same as with the pillars. Like if somebody has a need, like any mining need, essentially, like I'm a go-to person for that. I don't like saying it, but I am a go-to person for any mining need. Crypto needs, I can usually point you in the right direction. So I mean, like I have a lot of connections and things like that that I can help projects. Like I love to help. One of the things we haven't touched on is I also do consulting. So like right now I'm consulting with a number of people who are building their own mining farms, or want to start their own project. So with the connections I've built in networking over the years, those definitely help everybody. So it's something that I'm absolutely open to talking to anybody. So just don't be shy.
Awesome.
Would be my answer.
But now I got a follow-up question to what you just said. Is you said like you consulting rigs and mining projects. So are you also suggesting that you can give us a couple of scoops on interesting mining projects that might come up in the near future?
Yeah, actually.
Perfect. I'm all ears. So whenever you can drop something, then
They will be coming to you. They will be coming to you because they will need spaces to get the word out, and I happen to know of one.
Ooh,
So.
perfect. I'm excited.
I think what I love hearing about you, Badger, is that you're doing things the right way by grinding in the background and just waiting for, as long as you're consistent in what you do and you try to be consistent and do things as honestly as possible, then good things are going to come back in your direction. And I very much appreciate that that's how you're operating. You're not screaming too loudly. You don't feel the need to be obnoxious. It's just, I am good at what I do. Ask me a question and I'd like to prove it to you. And I really appreciate the approach.
Yes.
Thank you.
And before I jump off, I just want to say I shared up until you have your website ready. I have shared your personal Twitter account in the community question.
You can share my current website. It'll be the same domain and everything. Yeah, Badgerland crypto.
Okay, I will do that immediately after I jumped off. But still, guys and girls, and make sure that you follow Badger so you can take part in his personal journey and whatever he's doing as well. And yeah, that's enough for me. I see already the next community member up on stage. So thank you for answering my questions.
Thanks, David.
We have another question. Go for it, dude. Is it feeds? Feeds? How would you say that? Feeds? Feeds? How correct? How correct me.
Where?
Are you with us? While we're waiting, does anybody else want to jump up and ask a question? Please raise your hand if you do. Or if you can't speak at the moment, throw it into community questions. What do you, Badger, while we're waiting? Oh, no, there you go. I can hear you.
This is Fides. Actually, I would be new to mining, and I don't have a lot of money to throw into it. Don't have thousands of dollars. Would just be curious, what would be a good way to start, in your opinion?
So if you're gonna just start like that, I'll just be transparent right off the bat. You're gonna be doing it for a hobby mostly. So you're probably not gonna make money if you're not able to make that initial investment, which is one of the downsides to mining, and is that upfront cost and why things like quantum expeditions exist. But as far as what you could do for a hobby, let me find you this. Can just released a new mini miner for Bitcoin, and I actually bought one. I had to buy one retail because I couldn't even get a hold of it. But they just released them, and that would be a good option for you.
Is there a way to invest in mining companies without becoming a miner yourself?
Absolutely. Did we share the Quantum Expeditions link as well? Do you know,
We
Mad
did not,
Hatter?
but now would be a perfect opportunity for the potato to do so. Yes, there are options to invest in mining
Yes.
companies. We're going to throw a link in. The one that Badger has recently partnered with, I think, is worth a look. So definitely jump in there, and of course, Badger will be in there available to have a conversation with you as and when you want to ask questions.
And I'm always like one thing too, I do want to always say is like some people don't talk to me or won't want to ask me a question because they think they're bothering me, or because the one I hear that bothers me the most is because they're like 50-50 on whether or not they want to buy a miner. That's when you should absolutely talk to me so that we can figure out if it is right for you. Because if it's not right for you, the last thing you want is a $10,000 or $5,000 paperweight in your basement that your spouse resents you for buying. Um, like it's, I would rather have somebody talk to me for a half hour or an hour and then be like, "Hey, Justin, I don't think this is right for me," and then I'd be like,
Right.
"Cool, I'm gonna sleep great tonight."
And I love that approach. I think it's a very honest and genuine approach. And to piggyback off of the answer that you gave is that, we are in a very privileged position that you've kickstarted an opportunity for us to mine and given us an access that actually is behind quite a large paywall at times. And as you said, if you don't have the money to spend up front, actually you're probably just doing it for a hobby, and you've got to be very cautious about where you look and what you buy. So I think just the idea that we've been put in a position here to work alongside you, and as a result, gain access to that realm is fantastic, and it's really beneficial to the community. Do we have any more questions? Does anybody want to step up on stage? I see a few seasoned speakers, so perhaps you want to jump up, or does anybody want to throw a question into community questions? As you look around the space, Badger, while we're waiting for someone to throw a question in,
Yeah.
is there something that you're looking at around mining that you think could be the next big thing, not coin wise, but actually project wise, that you believe if they tweak a few things here and there, actually this space could benefit from a mining project that does pay on a regular basis?
Yes, if it can be, it just needs to be basically mining is just tough because of the capex, or basically the upfront cost is so much. It really limits who can get into it. And if you're going to mine at scale, you're not going to mine, for the most part, you're not going to mine Cadena or Litecoin or Dogecoin or Caspa at scale. For the most part, you're only going to mine Bitcoin at scale because for crypto, at least, it's the most predictable. Caspa, you could have a new miner that comes out that renders everything else before it completely obsolete. That's what happened with Cadena. Cadena had miners out there, and like this is a what is it? A story like shit. I'm blanking. I even slept. Uh, fuck. Whatever. It's a cautionary tale. There we go. Come on,
Right.
Badger. So it's a cautionary tale. So I had two customers, and this was when I first started. I had two customers who bought miners, Cadena miners, that were 40 terahash miners. So terahash or hash rate, just think of hash rate as the horsepower of the miner. The more horsepower a miner has, the more coins it can mine. So these two miners that they bought had 40 terahash of horsepower or hash rate. Then 2 weeks later, literally, a new miner came out or was announced that was 166 terahash. So it basically made theirs obsolete. Both of them instantly wanted to return it. Well,
Right.
I don't do returns, but PayPal does returns. So I was forced to take back miners that
Right.
were bought on PayPal. So it's, yeah, a little
It,
cautionary.
that can be very frustrating, I imagine. And you know, how do you mitigate against something like that? Is it just, you think, educating them and saying be patient, something else is going to come out? And you know, if somebody decides they want to go into mining, to really do their research in terms of what might be around the corner in terms of tech, or is it
Yes.
more a case of not sending it via PayPal but finding other avenues that don't allow for the people to
Yeah.
abuse the
So
loophole?
for me, it was definitely not using PayPal, but the other thing I did was stop letting people do a one click and buy. So I probably lose some sales because of it. But to buy a miner, you have to talk to me or Warren Peace,
Right.
one of
Okay.
my coworkers. So you have to have a conversation with us before you can buy a miner, essentially.
Right. And when it comes to miners that you're promoting or you're selling, what do you prioritize when you're selecting those? Is there something specific with the equipment that you're now going to prioritize when you're looking at stuff, so that the community doesn't have to prioritize it in their minds, or are you just going to offer everything?
So I'm basically did the risk analysis for the pillars, and that's why I chose Cadena over Caspa. Caspa would be more
Mhm.
profitable currently, but Cadena long term, there isn't a miner in the works, as far as I have been told, that will surpass what's out there now, which makes the
Right.
miner itself have more longevity. And when the time comes, we can look to take that and maybe flip it into the more efficient model.
Okay. And from one Justin to another, I should probably read out what we have here from Pocket Aces. He's always willing to speak, but isn't available at the moment. But as a fellow Justin, he might be biased, but he definitely appreciates Badger, you, and you share very similar ideas and desires for the space. So he appreciates what you're doing in the space. You
I,
know,
I,
you two
I
should
appreciate
definitely.
I appreciate Justin too. So him and I got our starts very close together. So it's been awesome to watch him grow as well.
Great. I was just going to say you guys should definitely be in contact with each other, but I'm sure you already are, and I love that, and I love the appreciation for one another, because you're both doing things the right way. Great. Well, we're kind of winding down to the hour. Is there anything that I haven't covered?
We are winding down, but yeah, I said that we were gonna have a giveaway if
You did,
we.
and
So, but to have a giveaway, we are going to say you have to ask a question in the Badgerland channel to be eligible.
I think that's a great start. So I don't know if, David, you can ping the Badgerland channel in community questions so people can see it, but I think absolutely you should put that as a criteria. However, before we do a giveaway, there's always some kind of alpha that's lurking in the background, whatever that might be. And there must be something that you haven't shared that you were thinking about sharing that I haven't really asked. Do you have something to tease for us?
I'm completely blanking. Did I? Tell me if I did, and I'll remember.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, okay. You're
I
putting me
think
on.
we've covered pretty much everything. I'm just probing to see if there was something extra.
Do I have something more to tease? Not yet.
Fair enough. I like that straight response. Not yet. Well, I am now pinging. There's going to be some questions that are coming in now. How do miners validate transactions on the blockchain? That's the first question.
So basically, I love this question, and my favorite answer to this question is if y'all are familiar with, like, in math, when you do the plug and chug, basically guess and check, that's all miners are doing. So the more hash rate or horsepower that your miner has, the more times it can say, "Hey, is this right? Nope. Is this right? Nope. Is this right?" And it just does that over and over and over. It does one ASICs or application specific integrated circuit machines that do one thing and one thing only, and they do it very well. And it's guess and check over and over and over.
Right. I trust that. I mean, it's a very short and comprehensive answer, so I trust that answers it. Let's see another question. Can anybody mine? Is it possible to mine using mobile phones at this stage?
At this stage, no, it would be pointless. You just burn your phone essentially.
Right. Do you think there's ever going to be a time where people can mine using that kind of equipment?
No, but what I do, so, and I'll answer all these questions here, but you do have to put a question in there to be eligible for the giveaway. I'll answer all these later, but one thing I do want to get into right at the end here is mining at home. While it's not entirely profitable, I think it will have applications in the future as far as people doing it exactly for what I do it for in the winter, to heat your
Yeah.
house. There are other things that you can do to heat your water, like your hot water heater. You can heat with Bitcoin miners. Basically, any heat in your house, you can do by recapturing it with ASIC miners. So as that technology evolves and gets further and further advanced, it's really exciting to see what new appliances are going to be able to mine Bitcoin, essentially.
Interesting. Okay, so that's something to definitely look out for. There's a lot of questions coming in now, so I'm going to finish off with one, and I think we then end it there. And then you said you're going to jump into the channel to perhaps answer the others. In terms of projects that you see out there, and I know that you're in one, I know you've partnered with one, so I know Quantum Expeditions is going to be at the forefront of your mind. But putting and taking that one aside, is there any mining company out there or project out there that you are most bullish about, and perhaps one that is paying regularly rather than there being a gap in between investment and paying out?
So there's a couple out there, and the one I will say is which one do I want to say? The one I will say is fraction mining, probably. The reason I say fraction mining is they have their infrastructure established. So when you're investing in an NFT, your NFT is going essentially to just buy miners. You're not having to fully fund the infrastructure as well. And they have been
Right.
established. They have been doing payouts and things like that. So that's definitely one. I like their team. I work with some of their team as well. So that's a project that to take a peek at.
Great. Badger, thank you so much. I think it's going to be really exciting moving forward. I can't wait for your first event. And again, thank you, especially on behalf of all of the community, because, let's be honest, they are the ones that are going to benefit most from this. Thank you for giving everyone here within the pillars the opportunity to take part in Kadena mining. Just from interacting with us and just from perhaps jumping on stage and running an event or tweeting something out, you get closer and closer to the opportunity to earn part of the pillars portfolio. And the fact that we now have you as part of that, and we're able to give Kadena away through the mining that's going to be hosted, and that's via yourself, I think that's hugely bullish. And again, we went through a little bit of figures in terms of what it might mean for everyone, but even if you got 10 Kadena and it hit $25, that's $250 that you've made just from interacting with us, and the generosity that Badger here is showing with his contribution to the Pillars portfolio. So thank you so much. I look forward to doing a real Crypto After Dark with you very soon, in which we can, get into the really nitty-gritty questions. And it's going to be an exciting few months ahead, and a long, prosperous relationship, I think.
Yep, I'm excited, man. Let's fucking go.
Absolutely, man. It's going to be great. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Badger, thank you once again. I've just put a post for the Kadena CEE as well. Again, Badger was instrumental in getting that to us. It's a $250 giveaway for that one also in Kadena. It's going to be a great event. Dude, thank you so much. I look forward to having another one of these, and let's keep the good times rolling, and I'm sure you're going to give plenty of responses in your channel.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much. Thank you, guys. You take care.